Discounting Baldur's Gate 3, this is the most fun I had while playing a video game in a long time. Dragon Dogma 2 is one of those games that makes you kind of change the way you think. But now, just like Baldur's Gate did last year, this game also reinforced the fact that I've not overgrown games, but most of them are boring, which this game, it's not. Which is crazy. As you know, this game really limits your fast travel, which as a player, I love fast travel. Every single game where I can fast travel, I usually end up using it. But so many times in Dragon's Dogma, I was like, oh, here's this huge road that's gonna take me like an hour to walk. And I got like 6 fairy stones in my inventory so I can teleport there. But you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Because the developers of the game are not stupid. They didn't like forget about, oh yeah, we had to add fast travel. Oops, let's add this small thing. No, they obviously designed the game this way so that when you're traveling back and forth, there's always something interesting happening. Sometimes you come face to face with a side quest, or you see a cave that you want to enter. Sometimes you pick a new vocation and you want to like try it out, and get some experience with it. So there's a reason for you to travel and battle some monsters. Sometimes you just want to take in the scenery. Sometimes you want to discover the undiscovered parts of the map because again, you can discover a new location, new quest, new everything. And that's the greatest thing about this game actually, is just that you start off saying one thing or thinking of doing one thing and then you go on a whole hour adventure. Just like how Skyrim felt to me back in the day when it came out. The world of this game just feels endless and I'm filling up more and more the map and I'm getting sad. Like, I don't want this ride to be over, I'm enjoying it as much as possible. Sometimes, obviously, I'm not enjoying it. Sometimes I'm angry, but the game is just so dynamic that it lets you experience its own story or create many of your own. And while I said the game is dynamic, the gameplay is also super dynamic. When you're in combat, you come up with so many cool ideas, and when you try to do something, it usually ends up working. You create your own ideas, right? Own theories, and you test them, and then they work. This is, something you see in Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's something you see in Metal Gear Solid 5. These two games are held super, super high up. And I think it's because of this exact same reason. And it's interesting to think that all the examples that I could come up with are from Japanese developers. Like the Western games, besides like outliers like Baldur's Gate 3 and Baldur's Gate 3, I guess. That's it. They all work like Ubisoft games, especially just like action RPGs, anything close to open world. You got 20,000 markers on your map. Everything is like programmed. You're like an AI, right? You don't feel free. You don't feel like you can create your own moments. You feel like you're in this railroad track in an open world game. You feel like you're in this, railroad track and you have to go do everything. As a matter of fact, again, just any other Ubisoft game or even GTA, Rockstar is, I think, guilty of this too. When you like select a marker, for example, you even get like your exact route marked out. Like, you should take this exact turn in this road, you should go to this direction. And that's problematic because, again, like, it doesn't let you see something in the distance. You know what, I'm gonna explore that. Or maybe I could go faster if I go here. Because in Dragon's Dogma, you do get markers, but, finding your way, it's all on your own. Or your pawn shows you, which is, it's cool, it's different. So that's problem number one, it's so on track. Number two is the fact that usually, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I look at GTA 5, for example, or any Ubisoft game really, there's nothing interesting going on anyways. Like, if I took a different path in Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm actually excited, especially if it's like a path that I never explored before, because I know something cool is gonna come up. Maybe a cool enemy encounter, maybe I'll find a cave and that cave is gonna have some cool, unique gear. There's always this sense of anything can happen. Maybe I'll lose all my pawns and will have to run for my life, which happened to me. I was super low level too, and some bandits were chasing after me. Another time I'm, just walking around the road, there's a minotaur out of nowhere. While I'm fighting and while I'm in the midst of fighting that, a griffin gets into the fight, like, what's going on? There's a caravan passing through, so they join us to help us fight these two beasts, and it's like, this would never happen in GTA, something like this, right? And to an extent, Red Dead Redemption 2. And when I say Red Dead Redemption 2, I actually mean Red Dead Redemption 2, as in the number 2. That's a perfect example of a railroad game, right? like you're in one track and you're going. I love the story, I love the writing, the characters, but even most of the open world encounters feel or very planned, as if again you're just watching a movie or something. But still, anytime like I saw like that blip on my map letting me know that there was gonna be this, you know, unique open world scripted event that was gonna be short, you know, it's gonna give me like a quick moral choice. Oh, this guy's trapped in a bear trap. Oh my god, what are we gonna do? You know, those are the moments from Red Dead Redemption 2 that I absolutely adore. As a matter of fact, when I finished the main story of the game, I remember just going randomly, just picking a direction and going towards it, and then I would come up to houses, and some, like surprisingly, a lot of houses in the wilderness, you could just get in them, you know, you could pretty much open up everything, loot everything. One time I came across this old woman living in the middle of the woods by herself, pretty much, you know, bonkers, has a basement and stuff. Like finding all that stuff, just stumbling upon it, like those were my fondest memories of Red Dead Redemption 2, and I wish they leaned into that more. And yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2 leans into that open world design, not only for its map, not only for its gameplay, but when it comes to its quest structure as well. I love the fact that in most quests, if you're not carefully listening or paying attention, reading the quest information, you're likely going to fail. There's so many ways to fail in this game. So when you actually pay attention, when you actually get things right, and when you get a satisfactory ending of a quest, I love it. Like the feeling it gives is so awesome. And what's sad about it is that I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of the quests are just mid. There are some that I really like. So most of them though, they don't have crazy stories. And yet still when I complete them, even if it's pretty much like a fetch quest, I feel the sense, the pride of accomplishment that you're looking for. This is the way you get, you know, have it. My dream is for Dragon's Dogma 3 to take this quest structure, improve upon it with better storylines, and there we go. Because again, going back to the fact that I can fail a lot of the quests miserably just makes it feel a lot more realistic. Immerses me into the game. Most games I play nowadays, I open up a podcast, I listen to some other YouTube video. This game, even when I'm just traveling the road and there's nothing going on, I realize that I don't open anything else. I just pay attention to the game. And it almost feels criminal when I get tired to continue to play Dragon's Dogma 2 because I know that I'm not enjoying this thing to the fullest or not being able to give my full attention to it. And the game also makes other bold decisions like, hey, besides you failing the quest, the NPCs could just die. Maybe in an open world event, maybe from something completely random. And guess what? You can pretty much romance any NPC you want. And that alone is super fun because you can go to, you know, a villager and romance them. You can go to like a literally super rich person in the noble's quarter. There's so many unique, cool, and funny situations that can come from that. You know, if a character dies, you might miss an entire quest line. And I love the fact that the game just lets you fail. More games need to just let you fail. Deal with the consequences of your actions as the player. And I think this is one of those games that take that concept to the extreme. And I'll be honest, it took me a lot of tries to get into Dragon's Dogma 1. I started that game and stopped playing it more times than I can remember. But the last time I started playing it, it finally clicked and I got exactly what the developers were thinking and going for. And like once that happened, it was just a completely different game. I enjoyed every single little aspect of it. Because this game is able to immerse you in its world so much, even though it has problems like the inventory management, which you can lighten a lot if you get like a logician pawn. But I think the management is just unreasonably clunky. It takes far too long to do the smallest of things. In certain cases actually, instead of giving us quality of life updates to those, they've taken a step back. Like how you were able to change all of your equipment when you went to a tavern and spoke to the person. That way you wouldn't have to hand your gear over to your main pawn and try stuff out, and it just, you know, adds extra unnecessary steps, I believe. Also, like traversing with your character, I love the new additions of like climbing and stuff, but the player character just loves jumping off of stuff, man. And when you're going up and stuff, it's perfect. When you're going down, it feels too slow. And when you drop from a distance this high, you die. Like the fall damage in this game is insane. You know, I would get it if it happened to a warrior or a fighter because they usually wear heavy armor, right? But like it shouldn't happen to a mage. Then again, they can float. So I can just count you endless amount of problems like this. But at the end of the day, the pluses, in my opinion, outweigh the minuses. Because this game is just fun, man. I just like That's the most important thing any video game should pull off, and Dragon Dogma 2, for me and for many of you I'm sure, does it in spades. So yeah, I absolutely love it, and I hope Capcom learns from their mistake, though I doubt it. This is the video game industry. It's just sad that a lot of people will be turned off because they heard the word microtransaction. I know they're optional, but they're still there. It is 100% against me and you, man. It's anti-consumer. There's no excuse for it. If someone, just for that reason alone, doesn't buy Dragon's Dogma, doesn't even play it, I understand them. But as you can see in my case, two things can be true at the same time. I hate microtransactions. I hate the fact that Capcom didn't optimize this game for the consoles nor for the PC. But get past all of those, there's an awesome game here. And I haven't checked, but I hope this sells well at the end of the day. Capcom fixes the game. Dragon's Dogma 2 gets fixed. We get New Game Plus. We get hard mode back. Maybe the ability to have more than one character. You know, that'd be cool. And then this game does like a Cyberpunk 2077 style comeback. Hopefully with zero microtransactions this time. Because if you make a good game, it's gonna sell. Believe me, it's gonna make you your money back. And I wish I could give Baldur's Gate 3 as an example. But we all know that Larian Studios, they played it smart. They're their own company. They're not tied to any investors or anything like that. Capcom is obviously way different. But man, if you don't wish for it, if we don't talk about it, if we don't do anything about it, not only nothing will happen, it will get worse. But let me know what you think about Dragon's Dogma 2 down in the description. Share your experiences. Also, I made like 3 videos covering over 200 creations, 300 creations that you can check out. And if you're mid-game, don't worry about it. I also made a tutorial video showing you how to change your pawn or your character's appearance completely. You can even change your race if you want mid-game. Check out these videos right here. All right, I'm getting out of here.